Hey everyone, it's Sarah from Think Ready Read over at arlacortongillingham.com. Today's post is a little bit different because I actually just wanted to talk with you about something. This is something that's been on my mind since I read an article that Arlac posted earlier this week about retention. It was in CBS Detroit, and it was about how one of the possibilities, one of the things that Michigan may be looking to do is to require the retention of third graders who don't meet the reading standards. Now, this isn't going through yet. This is just one of the possibilities, one of the ways that Michigan is going to focus on helping make sure that our third graders are able to read on level. I'll put a link to the article as well as everything else that I'm going to discuss below the video so you can go check it out for yourself. Now, the reason that this really got stuck in my head was because I know just from general reading and research that retention has not been shown to be effective. So after reading this article, I took just a couple of minutes, maybe 15 or 20, and I found a ton of research showing just what I had suspected. The majority of the studies show that retention has little to no impact on student achievement. And here's the kicker. In the case where there is a little bit of a discrepancy between students who are retained and students who were promoted, the research actually favors the students who were promoted. They were the ones scoring a little bit better than the students who were retained. And to me, this just makes sense. When it comes to reading especially, students do not benefit from more of the same. When a student struggles with reading, they need an intensive intervention. They need that to be the focus, and they need something different than what they're getting in the classrooms. So thinking that holding students back if they're not reaching the standards by third grade, thinking that that's going to help them become successful is not true. In fact, it's the opposite of what is true. Believe it or not, retention is actually the #1 predictor of student attrition. That's right. That means that students who are retained are 5 times more likely to drop out in high school, which is the exact opposite of what we want. So instead of focusing on worst case doomsday scenario where we're going to have to retain kids, let's focus on what do we need to be doing to make sure that we don't get to that point. What do we need to be doing to make sure that our third graders can read on level? That's what the discussion should be focused on. When we think about exceptions or worst case scenarios like retention, we're taking away the focus from what really is the issue here, which is how do we make sure that all students succeed? And I have a couple of ideas that I would like to share that I think are going to be way more beneficial than putting the threat of retention out there. The first starts in preschool. Now, the government did pass $130 million extra to be spent on preschool for low-income students, which is awesome. Getting them that exposure that they may have missed out on is going to be critical to helping them succeed later. We need to make sure, however, that they're getting the proper kind of instruction for preschool. We don't want to turn preschool into a place where they're just being worksheeted to death, to quote one of my favorite articles about what kindergarten has become. I'll probably link that below for you too. And we don't want preschool to be just a babysitting service. What preschool should focus on is phonological awareness and then start to probably get into some alphabet recognition skills. Now, this isn't just me talking, this is the National Reading Panel. The National Reading Panel found that the #1 indicator of reading success or failure was phonological awareness. They also found that phonological awareness can be directly taught and that it can significantly bridge the gap between inadequate preparation for reading and then success later with reading. So that's what these preschool programs should be doing. Let's try making sure that the proper programs are in place in preschool. Then building on that, Let's make sure that the proper programs are in place for our beginning readers, especially in kindergarten, first, and second grade. Once again, the National Reading Panel has figured out, they've reviewed all the research, and they have found that direct, systematic phonics instruction is the best approach for beginning, at-risk, and struggling readers. So let's make sure that these are the programs that are in our schools. These are the ones that are going to benefit all of those kids and give them a great foundation so that when third grade comes, not only will they meet the standards, they'll be ready to move on to the upper grades where they're going to read to learn. Unfortunately, I've been in quite a few schools. Not all of them have a direct systematic phonics program. Let's make that our starting step, making sure that we're giving evidence-based and research-supported instruction. We also need to make sure that our teachers are trained in how to properly deliver that instruction. I didn't graduate from college all that long ago, and I have to say, in the preparation for getting my elementary education degree, reading wasn't really focused on. The focus was a lot of stuff to do after students knew how to read, but I received very little training in actually how to teach reading. And I found that that's the case with a lot of teachers, which once again is baffling because that is the most important job in those beginning years. And it requires a lot of training to do properly. Our training for Phonics First is 30 hours of instruction, and that's just the beginning. Our teachers need at least that. Our teachers, our K1 and 2 teachers, need to be thoroughly prepared for how to teach reading with research-based methods. And they need some coaching, some guidance along the way. So let's put those things in place as well, and I think that we'll really see the students start to perform better. We have to stop thinking of kindergarten and first grade as a place that we can put teachers who didn't quite cut it with the upper grades, or as a place where we put teachers who really like kids because they need more than to really like kids. Our kindergarten and first and second grade teachers should be of the highest quality, and we should do whatever we need to, whether that's college preparation programs or whether that's professional development. We need to do whatever we need to make sure that they are highly trained and highly qualified. Now, for the students who will still struggle even with adequately trained teachers and with research-based programs, we need to make sure that they have an appropriate intensive intervention that we can start as soon as possible. Reading intervention for struggling readers shouldn't wait until third grade. It should start as early as kindergarten. There are screeners for dyslexia that can be administered before a student even attends school. And the majority of our struggling readers probably do have some degree of dyslexia. The estimates for the amount of students with dyslexia are about 1 in 5. It's about 20%. The amount of our students who aren't achieving standards by third grade is 30%. So the majority of those students who aren't meeting the benchmark probably do have some form of reading disability. Dyslexia is the most common. So let's make sure our schools have interventions specifically designed to remediate reading disabilities and dyslexia. We can do this by simply making sure that schools are using a program that's been accredited by the IDA, the International Dyslexia Association, or by IMSLC, the International Multisensory Structured Language Council. If we put these steps in place, we do the proper preparation in preschool, not just something general, but focusing on phonological awareness and alphabet skills. If we make sure that we are giving high-quality, research-based programs in our kindergarten, first, and second grades, that means direct, systematic phonics instruction like the National Reading Panel suggests. And if we make sure that we have an intensive intervention designed to remediate reading disabilities, I think we'll be in great shape and we won't even have to address the issue of remediation because we will have been able to address the needs of all of those students. Let me know what ideas you have. Let me know what you think of remediation. Are you in a school that holds students back? What are your thoughts about it? Have you ever been in the situation where you've had to hold a student back? Do you think that it is a good option? What do you think of my little 3-part plan here? What would you add to it? Really, please share your thoughts with me and share my thoughts with others. I'm hoping that maybe at some point we can even get Governor Snyder to look at this because we know how best to teach our students and we need to make sure that we're sharing that so that we're not having discussions about doomsday retention scenarios, but that we're having productive discussions focused on the students and how to help them succeed. I will see you back here on Monday for a great multisensory idea and next Thursday for a Teach Chat update. Make sure you keep reading. I haven't been quite able to keep up with our schedule because I've been going way ahead. It's so good. So there is so much that I want to talk with you about. Comment right on the Facebook page, tweet. Let me know how far you are in the book. Let me know what you want to talk about. Oh, and let me know, would you be interested in doing a real-time chat? We can use AIM, we could use Google+, we could use a Facebook chat. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in because I think it would be really fun to get to almost have a sit-down discussion with you guys. Albeit a sit-down discussion where we are all sitting at our computers scattered all over, who knows where. It's one of the great things about the internet. So yes, many things that I would love for you to comment on or email me about or tweet me or write on my Facebook page, anything that you want to do. I love hearing from you and I look forward to meeting with you again next week.